Alright guys, so with God of War Ragnarok being right around the corner, I figured I'd do a video going over my expectations for the game and what I think we could see, and just a lot of things I want to see in this game, because there's been a lot of fan theories and a lot of just speculation for this game, because it's been in the making for so long, so we've had a lot of time to kind of speculate what we want to see. So I figured I'd give my input on that and just kind of go over what I really want to see in Ragnarok, because there's so many things I'm kind of expecting for this game. And yeah, so I just figured I'd give my input on that. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let's just get right into it. So starting off, we have Kratos versus Thor. So this is probably one of the most hyped fights in all of God of War, maybe besides Zeus and Ares, because this fight is so equal in power. We have heard some crazy stories of Thor in God of War 2018 of Thor, and how, I mean, he's just an absolute unit. This guy killed Thor the Giant, which we actually get to see his remains, and a guy that big, like, yeah, Thor took that guy down. So, you know, I think that just in and of itself proves that Thor is for sure a worthy rival for Kratos. But he did other things like beat his own son half to death, which was kind of messed up. So it makes, at least me personally, want to see the God of War himself fight him. And I really think if done correctly, it would be one of the greatest fights in all of video game history, honestly. And yeah, being able to also see Santa Monica's interpretation of a more historically accurate Thor is something that has just got me very hyped for the game. So moving on. So next up, we have Kratos versus Odin. Now, similar to Thor, we have heard a lot about Odin. However, I feel we have more of a reason to fight Odin due to the past he has with Mimir and the past he has with Freya. He is arguably even more of an entitled, egotistical god than Thor, so seeing Kratos and Atreus face off against him as a final boss, honestly, I feel like would be a true God of War game ending. And also, I kind of like the idea of Kratos fighting someone who's a little bit like more smart than they are strong, because it really helps show how Kratos was once a Spartan general, and how he isn't just all like brute force. He uses his brain a lot, and I know we've seen a lot of this in other boss fights, but I know with this game trying to take more of an approach on tactically defeating the boss instead of just like mashing a bunch of buttons, which, I mean, the game, I'd say the previous game we did a little bit in some boss fights, but you know, they've already said that they were trying to take an approach of trying to do that less in this game. So I think Odin is like a perfect candidate for that, where we can do some like smart stuff in the boss fight to defeat him instead of just you know, basic attacks defeating him. But still, I think Odin is a very exciting boss fight, and I'm very, very excited to seeing him in the next game, and hopefully absolutely destroying him with Kratos and or Atreus. So next up, what I'm expecting to see added in God of War Ragnarok is new weapons. While God of War 2018 gave us an amazing new weapon in the Leviathan Axe and a great reboot of the Blades of Chaos, another really cool, like, just thing I'd like to see added to Ragnarok is more weapons, because I feel like it would make the game feel more fresh and would just add to it. Some obvious candidates for new weapons would be stuff like Mjolnir or Freyr's sword, but seeing something like the Blade of Olympus return would probably be the most hype thing for me, because I mean, what else could a God of War player ask for? Because we would have to go back to Greece to retrieve it, and seeing the whole dynamic between Kratos and Atreus there would be really nice, because then maybe when we're there we could see Kratos explain to Atreus how he killed his previous family, and really just help Atreus understand truly what his dad used to be, because we kind of got a glimpse of Kratos explaining to Atreus his past in the previous game, but he didn't really go into too much detail. It was kind of broad. He just told him that he was enslaved by God and made some bad choices. But yeah, going back to Greece would be cool to retrieve the Blade of Olympus. But there's many other options for weapons for sure. I mean, those three aren't the only. So let me know in the comments if there's any you're expecting to see in Ragnarok, because I mean, the way Santa Monica Studios handles weapons, I should say, in these games are just so amazing. So any weapon you would want to see, I think they could handle great. So so let me know in the comments what you think that those could be. And yeah, next up we got... Alright, so next up we've got more exploration in the 9 realms. Now, don't get me wrong, we got to see a lot in God of War 2018 with all the realms, but I feel like only being able to travel to 6 out of the 9 realms naturally has got me curious to just explore the other 3, and something I'm looking forward to especially is being able to see Asgard in the Golden City, and hopefully even having a boss fight on the Rainbow Bridge. And, you know, just from what we've seen from Svartalheim, too, the realm just looks absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to explore it. You could tell the time they put into this game was immense, because the graphics and everything that we've seen from the trailers, it just really looks great. So I can't wait to explore those realms, and, you know, further exploring already existing realms too would be great, because we barely got to see Jotunheim in the last game. You know, we only went in there for a couple minutes, and we don't really get to see much there. So, I mean, it would be really nice to be able to explore it just a little bit more. And maybe if we get to explore Jotunheim more, we can see more of Atreus understanding what it truly means to be a giant, because that would be a very big moment for Atreus. So something like that would be really cool. So exploring the realms is for sure up there on my list too. And yeah, next we got. So to wrap the list up, we have Surter. Now, we don't know a crazy lot about Surter in the God of War universe, but he is supposed to bring destruction to Asgard come Ragnarok with his sword, which we have seen in Muspelheim. So seeing him in a big epic final boss fight as an enemy or an ally would be really cool. And hey, I mean, a giant in a God of War game is always a win in my eyes. So seeing him, again, like I said, in like a big epic final boss scene would be really, really cool. And I think just the scenery of his size compared to other things would just make it cool, because then whenever you're seeing him, you get to see how tiny like maybe Asgard would be as a whole compared to Surter. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it with Surter. We don't know a lot about him, so there isn't really too much to speculate on other than the obvious destruction he would bring to Asgard. So that's been my list of what I'm most looking forward to in God of War Ragnarok. Let me know in the comments what you want to see, because the game, again, is very, very close to releasing. And man, I've been waiting years for this, so I cannot wait. If you're new here, because I haven't posted much on this channel, make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one.